The children we shall meet all live in St. Louis, Missouri. But they could live anywhere, because the things they do and the things they think are the same for children in lots of other cities. Not all of us want to go to school very much. We look with envy at people who don't have to go to school. All of us feel that way sometimes. Wouldn't it be fine to cut off and get lost? Maybe join up with some friend who doesn't like school any better than we do. Play hooky. Break a few of the rules. There are so many rules, so many things you're not supposed to do. And then there are other things you are supposed to do that you don't want to do. What's it all for? Sometimes it seems the rules are just put up there to be broken. But here it is, another morning. It's time to go to school. And all over town, hundreds, thousands of kids are getting ready.
Hurry up and come out.
Hurrying. Arguing about whose turn it is for the bathroom.
You mean 15. Kenneth, knock on the door and maybe she'll come out.
Hold on, 15 minutes.
I'll be 20 minutes longer if you keep it up.
That's what she always waking up late.
Bathroom pet. No, making you sick.
If you don't feel like hurrying, there are lots of things you can do on the way.
Hi, boy.
Have you got any red hots?
No red hot.
Have you got any lifesavers?
No. You see anything else you like? Give me 2 packs.
Well, then give me a pack of M&M's peanuts.
Ah,
2 packs, matter of fact.
There's still plenty of time. Most of the kids are still fooling around in the schoolyard. I guess some of them like school so much they can't wait to get there. But what's it all for? People keep telling you it's necessary. Terrible things will happen to you if you don't get an education. That kind of talk doesn't make anyone feel very eager. It doesn't sound like the things that really seem worth doing. Like seeing how far you can walk with 1 foot in the gutter. Personal things like that. Things that require a little bit of style. Hey, it is getting late. Everybody's hurrying. That bell is going to ring any minute now. Everybody inside. And that's the time you may feel like lingering for that 1 extra minute.
Okay, boy.
Living dangerously.
Okay, boys. Come on, no loitering. School bell's ringing.
Let's go.
Come back. Bye. Come back.
Uh-oh, the bell has rung. The school doors will be locked. Now you have to knock. Wait for a monitor to let you in. Get reported for being late. More trouble. The classes have all started. Kids are reciting, answering questions, being tested on whether or not they've done their homework. Some kids just seem to find it easy.
What other routes were being explored at this time? Dorothy?
The route around Africa.
Who was exploring this route?
Portugal.
The Portuguese. Can you remember the name of some of the explorers that were mentioned?
Vasco da Gama and Diaz.
Yes. Which one really reached India?
Vasco da Gama.
Now, did Columbus did he really establish a trade route to the Indies as he started out to do?
No.
How did Columbus happen to discover America in the first place? What was he trying to do?
Find India.
He was trying to find India by doing what? What was his idea for finding India?
They couldn't do discovery.
He was going to find this route by doing what?
Sailing west.
Sailing west, sure. He did make a couple of mistakes. What were a couple of his mistaken ideas, though? Billy?
Took the wrong course.
Well, the Europeans thought he was sailing the wrong way, but he thought that this would be, he would reach India. But there was one mistaken idea about the world that he had. What was it, Dorothy?
He didn't know how big the world was.
That's right. He didn't know the world was as large as it was. The people of Europe will
Often, it is hard to pay attention. Things like Columbus seem hundreds of years, thousands of miles away. So, you look like you're listening, but you stop listening. You daydream. Think about being in other places.
I don't like going to school, really.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
What would you like to do?
Stay home and help my mother, I guess.
What would happen? What would you do?
Help her around the house, take care of my little brothers and sisters.
You want to spend the rest of your life doing that?
I guess not.
And what would happen when your brothers and sisters grew up and you grew up? Then what would become of you?
Just have to move out, I guess.
What would you do then?
Just live by myself, I guess.
Yeah, but how would you live? How would you earn your living?
Well, I guess I'd go out and have to work.
What would you work at if you'd never been to school?
I'd take a training course or something like
Why
that.
don't you take a training course now and save yourself the trouble?
No, I don't think there were a lot of trails. Sure, there were trails because we had the fur traders were there, and the Spaniards had definitely set up some trails in that territory. But people coming from the east coast to the west really didn't have that many roads they could follow. So when this gold rush happened and occurred, this enabled people to set up new trails, new paths, new ways over and through the Rocky Mountains, finding new passes, new ways to get past them, and new trails through the deserts by trial and error. Many people died on the way. Don't think that just because there was a gold rush, everybody made it. They all became millionaires. Eldon, wake up. No, a lot of people died on the way coming from the East Coast to the West because it was a long trip, and these people weren't used to traveling. The first time possibly away from their nice, comfortable homes in the East, and they were starving for wealth.
It's really very easy to get lost in school. You don't pay attention. You get a little behind in your work. The teacher scolds you. And then where are you? You get a message the principal wants to see you. What's he going to say?
All the teachers tell me that I don't try. Like Mr. Cooley, just before I came down here, about half an hour before, I came up to him and he told me that he said that I had the ability to do my work and do it good. That's what all the teachers, ever since grade, first one that told me that was Miss ever since second grade, first one that told me that was Miss Shaker.
You listen when they tell you that?
Not really.
You don't listen?
No.
Why not?
Don't know. Just don't.
What is there in you that makes you so ornery on this subject?
Don't know.
Do you think they're attacking you when they tell you this?
No.
In a sense, they're flattering you, aren't they? They're telling you.
Don't believe me half the time.
You don't.
Half the time, don't believe me either.
Why would they tell you something about yourself that wasn't true?
Don't know, just to get me to work.
Well,
something the teachers thought of.
Why would they want you to work?
'Cause they probably want to get me out of their room.
So you wait and wonder what it's all about. There was that time you sassed the teacher. The time you didn't get your work in on time. the time you were late. Perhaps they've telephoned your home. There was that fight you had with another kid last week. Little pieces of trouble can add up to something serious.
Ronnie, come in, please. Ronnie, do you know why I've asked for you to bring your aunt up here so I could talk with her and you? I want you to tell me, and tell your aunt too.
Because I had a fight.
That's not the only reason, son. Sure, this is another something that you have done. You have been a different boy from you were last year. And I want to, maybe you can help us to understand why this is. Can you do so? Don't you like the school now? Don't you like your teacher now? What's the problem? Is there anything which you might be able to tell me? Ronnie? Come on now. You're not helping the situation by closing your mouth. Speak up now. What's wrong, Ronnie? Why is it that you have so much difficulty? Come on. Is there something that we should know about that we might be able to help you? Ronnie? Now, if you cannot open up your mouth and talk to us, then your aunt can take you back home. Ronnie, I'd like you to step outside now for just a few minutes.
Know and understand, O best beloved, that till that very week...
And then, for some of us, it just seems easy to get on.
Elephant's child had never seen a crocodile and did not know what one was like. It was all his insatiable curiosity. The first thing that he found was a
That's right.
Colored. No, colored.
We don't usually spell it that way, do we? That's an old-fashioned spelling.
The first thing that he found was a bicolored python rock snake curled around the rock. "Excuse me," said the elephant's child most politely, "but have you seen such a thing as a crocodile in these promiscuous parts?" Have I seen a crocodile?" asked the bicolored python rock snake in a green, dreadful scorn. "What will you ask me next?"
School can be pretty tolerable if you can just figure out what they're going to ask you to do next. You don't have to get E for excellent or G for good on every test. It's just being a little bit ahead most of the time instead of being a little bit behind all the time.
What's your schoolwork like? Do you get good grades or bad?
Yes, sir.
Good. What kind of grades?
I make sometimes about 6, 7 E's, 2 G's, occasionally an M.
That's almost perfect, isn't it?
Almost.
Do you enjoy the work?
Yes, sir, I do.
Why?
Because it's interesting. Every high grade I go, it finds work interesting.
I mean, it gets more interesting as you go on?
Yes, sir.
How far do you intend to go?
I plan to go to college.
Yeah, think you can make it?
I hope.
How do your folks feel about this?
Well, they said I better go to college.
The toughest thing about school, for everyone, is that feeling, I'd better do it. It puts you off studying half the time, and the feeling that there's always something that has to be done never stops, whether you're doing well or doing not so well. For kids who are having trouble, it can be hard to take.
Both you boys have had your own amount of trouble with school. Why do you think that is?
Sir?
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's our own fault. It's our own fault.
Why do you say that?
If it wasn't our own fault, how could we get in trouble?
Well, there might be something wrong with the school. Think that might be?
Might be. I don't think so, though.
Do you find it hard to pay attention in class?
No, sir. No, I pay attention when I want to, but at times I just don't want to.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm sleepy, and teacher won't let me go to sleep or anything, so I don't pay no attention to him or anything. I don't like my teacher.
Tell me about that.
Every time I go in late or something, he'd jump all over me, but anybody else go in late, and he won't say nothing to them. And I asked him if I can go to the bathroom, he'll say no to me. But right as soon as I sit down, somebody go up and ask him, he'll say yeah to them. That makes me mad. And I think I can get all my work done if I tried real hard. Sometimes I try real hard to get it done, sometimes I don't. Put my head down and go to sleep. I can get all mine done. I try.
Do you think you're smart enough to get really good grades if you try?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How about you, Owen?
Yes, sir.
You feel you're just about as smart as anybody else in the class?
No, sir. There's some people in there smarter than me.
But you think you could do pretty well if you really went at it?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you?
Sometimes when I get up in the morning, I'm sleepy. Well, I come to school and I sleep. But sometimes I don't want to do the work, so I just fiddle around. And sometimes I get my work all done.
What's your answer to the basic question, Eldon? Why don't you do better? Why don't you just buckle down and get on top of it? You don't know? Do you think it's important?
Yes, sir.
Do you think there's anything else that's more important?
Nope.
What does the future look like to you?
Be kind of dull, I guess. It'd be kind of dull, I guess.
It is the same for all of us. For a while in our lives, school is the most important place there is. Our teachers are trying to help us to see this. Sometimes they can. Sometimes the message doesn't get through. The message is something like this. We may not like school. We may not do too well. But whatever we can get there is the main thing that will carry us on, the main thing that will decide what our lives are going to be like. Without it, the future can look pretty dull.
Do you feel happy when you look ahead?
Well, not necessarily. I, don't understand what might happen. Might, just go down the gutter.
Think that's possible?
Yes, anything's possible.
Do you think you will go down the gutter?
No, I hope not.
What's going to decide that?
Me.
So you might possibly feel cheerful. Huh?
Yes.
You think you've got the stuff to make some sort of a life in you?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
From the teachers and the books.
Cities. We're going to learn a little bit about the cities. Everybody wants to know about the big cities. How many boys and girls have ever heard of the Paris in Austria, the Paris of Austria? It's a very fascinating place. In fact, I'll tell you a little secret before we get there. In this city called the Paris of Austria, it's not really called Paris, but it has another name. We'll see. They have the largest, the most gigantic Ferris wheel in the world. You know what a Ferris wheel is, don't you? How many don't know what a Ferris wheel is? They have the most gigantic one in the world. And we're going to take a trip there, and maybe if our imaginations are strong enough, maybe we can even take a ride on the Ferris wheel. And probably most important of all, we want to learn about the people in those countries. We're going to learn it a little from the textbook here by looking in the pictures, a little from looking at our map here. So without any further ado, and you know what I mean by without any further ado, don't you? That means without any more to say about it.
Do you know what you're going to do with yourself when you get older?
Well, I wanted to be a teacher when I grow up.
Why?
Well, I like children. Yes, sir.
You like the atmosphere of school?
Yes, I like to see children growing up and how they associate with other people and things of that sort.
Do you think you'll be able to do that?
I plan to. I hope so.
Uh-huh. You've thought about this?
If a person is able to do something, that I think that he should. And I don't think he should let anything stand in his way.
Do you think that thing's standing in your way?
No, I don't think so. I think that I just want to shoot up to the top and do the best I can. And I think my mother feels the same way.
School is there for us to do what we want with it. Our teachers go on at us about this, on and on and on. Perhaps sometimes our parents go on at us as well, and for the same reason. They want us to have a future. Having a future, some kind of a future, seems like a good idea if you look straight at it, even if people do seem to nag a bit.
Does your mother see to it you do your homework?
Most of the, yeah, she every time I bring something, home, she tells me, don't I have some, she asks me if I have some homework to do. And sometimes I tell her yes, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I tell stories and say that I just bring it home just to, practice.
Why do you do that?
Don't know.
How far are you going to go in school?
I think my father, he really wants me to, me and my brother Kenneth, to grow up and stay in, when we grow up and get out of high school, he wants us to go in through college for about 3 years.
To do what?
To learn about, learn about what you're supposed to know, So in case when you grow up and you can probably get a better job into making more money.
The school day is over. Freedom is great. And that's where school comes in, because school can get you freedom. Freedom to do the things you want to do and be what you want to be. You don't have to go to college if that's not the way your interest runs. There are places with shorter courses, trade schools and the like. For some kids, finishing high school is enough to start them the way they want to go. But the work has to be done. You have to learn a few things, for that's the way the world is. So you do what you can with what you've got. Because when you come right down to it, there always has to be a time when you're alone with yourself and the paper in front of you. The clock ticks. Time passes. The writing goes on. More pages, more writing. You might be playing at something. You might be watching television. But you're doing okay at school just now. Better keep at it, even though it seems hard. Time passes.
You think school's a waste of time?
No.
Why not?
Because you have to have an education to get a job.
Is there anything you'd rather do than go to school?
You'd rather get a job, but you can't because you have to have a job, high school education.
But if you could get a job just without the education, you would, huh?
No, not exactly. Everyone says it's fun going to high school.
And you don't know until you try it out.
Is it fun going to school now?
Sometimes. Because the teacher, he makes jokes out of everything you say.
You like that? What don't you like about it?
When he gets on to someone. When he gets on to someone.
What does that mean?
Because then he yells.
Do that much?
Sir?
Does he do that much?
I mean, yell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he yells.
Do your parents yell at you?
Yeah.
It's time to go to bed, Gwen.
Oh, do I have to?
It's time to go to bed.
Oh, can I stay up?
Daddy said it's time to go to bed.
No.
Okay, come on. It's time to go to bed.
Oh, darling, now?
Now.
All right, kids, you heard your mother. Let's go to bed.
Darling.
So another day is gone. There will be more like it. More books, more teachers, more tests, more homework, more fussing. It's not a bad life, and there is some point to it. This film was called Going to School. It was a presentation of the College Entrance Examination Board.